At the bottom of our distributing notes is some critical thinking, and this is definitely going to take some higher level thinking and some thought before we get this tackled and down. But what they want us to do is fill in the blank to make each statement true. And so we're kind of working backwards here. We're thinking about negative 4x minus 8 equals negative 4 times the quantity x plus what? And so if we notice, we take the outside number and multiply it by everything on the inside. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. So we're asking ourselves negative 4 times what gives us negative 8, or a minus 8. And we know that negative 4 times positive 2 would give us negative 8, and so that seems reasonable. If we want, we can always check our work, and so I'll show you kind of what that would look like really quick here. If we want to distribute and see what it would turn into, we would get negative 4x plus negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And you may be thinking, well, that doesn't look like this. Well, if we copy, change this expression over here, copy, change, now it does look the same, and my answer checks and makes sense. It seems reasonable. So on this letter B here, we've got negative 18k minus 63 equals negative 9 times the quantity blank plus 7. And so negative 9 times 7 does give us negative 63. And so we're thinking negative 9 times what would give us negative 18k? Well, 9 times 2 is 18, and a negative times a positive is a negative, so we'd want this to be positive 2, and then the variable that's with it is k. Again, if we want to check our answer and see if it makes sense, we can. We can distribute this negative 9. Negative 9 times 2k is negative 18k, plus negative 9 times positive 7 would be negative 63. If you think that this doesn't look like this, remember that we can think of the subtraction sign as a negative sign, or we can apply copy, change to this expression. Negative 18k copy, change subtraction to addition, change positive 63 to negative 63, and when you do that, you see that your answer checks and makes sense that 2k does belong in the blank here. On the next example, letter C, we've got 7 times the quantity blank minus 8 equals negative 14r plus 56. So we know we're taking negative 7 and we're multiplying it by everything on the inside. Negative 7 times, we read this as negative 8, that subtraction sign's like a negative. Negative 7 times negative 8 is positive 56. So we're asking ourselves negative 7 times what would give me negative 14r? Well, this is a negative, so I know a negative times a positive gives me a negative, so then my answer here is going to be a positive answer. And 7 times what number gives me 14? 7 times 2. And then my variable here is r, so 7 times 2r minus 8 equals negative 14r plus 56. And we can check our answer if we want to check to see that it makes sense. Negative 7 times 2r is negative 14r. And negative 7 times negative 8 would be a positive 56. And we get negative 14r plus 56. That is the same thing that's listed here. So our answer checks and makes sense. I'm going to skip letter D for right now, and I'm going to jump to letter E, just because I'm going to try and challenge you in just a moment to see what you can do. So letter E has 2 blanks. They want us to fill in this symbol, add or subtract, and then they want us to fill in this last number. So negative 5 times the quantity W plus or minus blank equals negative 5W minus 10. And so this is going to take a little bit of thought here. We know that negative 5 times W is negative 5W, so that seems good. We've got a subtraction sign over here, so if we want, we can try and put a subtraction sign here. We could also copy, change this statement here so that it's an adding sign. Sometimes it's a little bit easier. Copy, change to see this as a negative 10. And then say, okay, well, this could be a plus then. Sometimes adding rules are just a little bit easier for us. And then we could have negative 5 times what gives us negative 10? Well, negative 5 times 2 gives us 10. And so we've got negative 5 times w is negative 5w plus negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. You also could have filled in the blanks with a minus sign, but when you did your minus sign, we would have had to get positive 10, so negative 5 would have to be multiplied by another negative number to get a positive 10 when we subtract. So when we did negative 5 times negative 2, we got positive 10 and would still have the minus sign in front. The thing that stinks about a minus and negative 2 is that it really doesn't make sense. When we have minus and negative, we use our copy, change rules to add the opposite. So we would change subtraction to addition and change negative 2 to positive 2. So that's why I think that this is the best answer, but I would accept either answer on the test or quiz. At this point in time, I want you to just challenge yourself and just do your best to try D and F. See what you can do, and then unpause the video to see if you got them right. So this very first one, we're thinking about what times 3a would give us negative 6a, and I know that would be negative 2, and then I just have to double check, does negative 2 times positive 4b equal negative 8b, and it does, so my blank here should have been negative 2. On this last one, we had to fill in our plus or minus and our second symbol, so negative 2 times 3m was negative 6m. There was already an addition symbol, so I can just put my addition symbol here. And negative 2 times what gives me positive 18? A negative times a negative gives me a positive, so I know this is going to be negative. And 2 times 9 gives me 18, so I should have plus negative 9. And if you wanted to check your work and distribute to see that it matched, you could have. But this first blank should have been negative 2, and then for letter F, we should have had plus negative 9.